So I'm just going over the Polaris and assessing what we're going to need on it. Right off, let's see, that battery cable looks atrocious. I think we're going to need a battery cable, so obviously the battery. Going to have to flush the gas tank. This switch, well, maybe I can get in there and just clean that up. The other one definitely on the right side is broken. Gonna have to get a new one of those. I like to get the pod. It's cracked. And when I look under here, it looks like the mount, if you can see in there, the mount for the handlebars looks like it's bent. So I'll have to straighten that when we get there. Obviously the front rack is broken. I have to figure out what's going on with the steering on this. Maybe it's, is it too wishful thinking to think it's just adjusting the tie rod? I don't see a bent arm or rod. I don't know. We'll have to tear into that once we can get it running. But let's hit it with some action sauce, see if we want to, where we go from there. That kind of tells me there you go. Does it have compression? Does it have spark? And then we can kind of go assess it from there. Oh, nice. We got our own lake and no air filter. So I'm hoping no critters crawled in there. The engine wasn't locked up. There. It's got compression. So what's on? There's on. Might have to open up the throttle to see if it wants to hit. Yeah. Set you down for a second. It's got spark. It's got compression. Seems to shift pretty positively. So, I don't know. I guess we'll open it up, take the carb out, soak it, drain the gas tank, and see if we can get it to stay running from there. Check back. Yeah, we just got all the legal stuff done on it. We own it now. So I'm going to clean it off, get some of the dirt off so we can work on it and see if we can get that carburetor running. Hey, Onyx. So one thing I learned the hard way, you crank this handlebar mount when it's bent and you got the key in the ignition, you break the key off. Something else I gotta buy. So anyway, I got hopefully enough fuel line and a filter. I'm gonna redo all the carburation on it. And first things first, get this rack off. Okay, so I'm gonna call it a night. I went a little further than most because this is all bent up. I had to pull the bars off. Front rack is 27 T27s. Pull the rack off, then the steel plate that it mounts to, those were 13 millimeter. And then you've got 210s in here, I do believe. 210s back here. I'm frazzled. I tell you what, whoever designed this choke into, where is it going? Into this stupid carburetor should be shot. That's frustrating as all. I don't know if there's a special tool. I ended up finally just going with some smaller vice grips, and I had to grab way up here and twist, not down here where the 12 millimeters at. I even tried fabricating a wrench to do it, but these just spread out. Wasn't working. And then even if you could get a turn on it, this was too thick to fit down around that. That is just stupid. Asinine. Anyway, good news is, you see that? Got about 130-ish pounds of compression. That's good. But I've kind of had it today. I'm going to order an air filter Probably a spark plug for it, and I think I'm going to put a carb kit on this thing. I don't want to tear it back apart. So I'm going to order that, and then that'll be a few days, but for you guys it should be all spliced together. It'll be the next frame. Alright, later. I have never seen varnish like that. That was a float bowl. Look at that main jet. Yeah. This was just running, right? Yep. Time to soak. Definitely getting a kit for it. Alright guys, Magnum, Polaris Magnum was a 325. This air screw right down there was locked up so stinking bad. I was breaking the ears on that son of a gun, trying to get it out. Ran it through 4 heated ultrasonic cleanings, nothing. So I brought it into work with me today and thought, well, I took a spring-loaded center punch and I went down that hole and smacked it with the center punch, spring-loaded center punch, about 4 times, and then I soaked it in ATF. You got to make sure that you've got this hole covered with ATF, and then it's got the little hole that it uses. It's in that channel right there. It's too dark to show you, maybe. You can kind of see it right there, right there, right there. So make sure that's both submerged. And I'll let it sit for about an hour. And thank God it came out. Okay, so some parts have been coming in. This was just dry and nasty, so I went ahead and replaced it. That's on. You've got to cut the grip off to get that on. And then in the back, I'll show you on this one better. There's a little Allen head that you got to loosen. That's what holds that on. I'm now going to replace a thumb throttle with another Chinesium one. And it's this one right here. And you just pry that cap off gently. That's all, just these ears hold it on. And whoa, and then that holds it on the bar. You shouldn't have to cut the grip off of this side, but I've got to replace them both anyway, so I'm going to cut this one off too. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've already got the cable unhooked, and I'm going to swap that out now. Now the supervisor's out here. I was wrong about that. This thumb throttle, which is JB welded on there, won't clear, so you do have to cut the grips off so you can get the new one on. I'm going to tighten those screws up and plug in the runaway switch. Alright, so that's on. Terminal's hooked on. This just turns like quarter turn and locks in there, and then you just thread it through. Yeah, so that's newish. That's newish. I replaced the ignition because I broke the key off with the Chinese one. Hoping I don't have a problem with that. So I put the cap on this, and then we got to do a carburetor kit. So I had some chunks of stuff still after like 5 ultrasonic cleanings. Still had some tar-like stuff down the bottom of there that I had to clean out. I'm going to go ahead and swap this gasket out. I'll double check the carburetor. It's like all these parts still need cleaned off again and blown out. And the kit, that's the kit I got. It was like $60. Part number if you need it. And I'm going to go ahead and break that open and do the gasket and kind of go through it. All those screws that had corrosion, I just shot some carb cleaner in there. Just going to clean them off, clean the cap off. I think I'm going to move all this into the house and finish putting it together.
Come on, guys. Come on, stop it.
I was holding off on ordering any parts for it till I heard it run, and it took a fair minute to get it carburetor primed up.